Whoa!
Jesus Christ. What a week. What a week. Everybody's
I
sick.
recorded that.
Yeah, you did.
Oh man,
Man,
that's
even if you didn't record it, it
okay.
showed up on my track just now. That's how loud it was.
That's
Surprise
the title of the
myself.
episode.
Hachu?
Hachu.
Exactly the sound. That
Oh
sound.
yeah, there's some punctuations in there, some hashtags. Uh, Everybody's sick. Jad has the flu actually. Well, she's getting over it now. I sort of have a cough. Alex has the flu, it sounds like. Are you sick?
I'm getting better.
Getting better every day.
Thanks to your text messages.
What? I don't even have your number. Butch, are you sick? You just got sick, or you just got well?
I did.
You did?
Oh, like a month, like
I
a
was.
couple of weeks ago, didn't you say? Oh, you. Oh no no no, your internet
DJ.
connection got sick.
Oh, my internet connection.
Yeah. How's it feel? Or how did it feel being back in the dark ages for a while?
Fucking horrible. It's terrible. It's still funky now.
Oh yeah?
It's so annoying. Like for some reason, Google sites don't always work, which is like
Mm.
Gmail, Google search, and YouTube. So pretty important websites.
Maybe it depends on what you're searching for.
I'm only searching for the truth.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Mix is actually in town. I'm seeing him tomorrow for burgers and stuff.
Nice.
EJ has a busy week. I don't know if I'm at liberty to say, but I hear some good things are happening at work, if you know what I mean.
Nice.
Yeah.
Romance.
Yeah.
No?
No.
Bromance.
Oh, new romance.
Welcome to Tres Comiceros. This is the number one comics review and discussion podcast in the Philippines. My name is John. I'll be your host for this evening. With me are sick boy Alex
What's up?
and overly healthy, possibly lactating Butch Mappa. What's up, dude?
I am so excited for next week's Game of Thrones.
Oh man.
What?
Yeah. I'm kind of
2
sad.
days.
I'm kind of sad that it's over. Well, the season is over.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was too soon.
it was too short.
Yeah. It was too short.
Yeah.
And Migs echoed how you felt about it, Butch. That and this was even before all the online criticism and stuff. The two of you were sort of sharing on the TK chat that this feels rushed so far, right? This season specifically.
Yeah. There's the quality of the writing has taken a dip for me anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and for a lot of people. But like I said, over the first 6 seasons, the show I feel like has built up so much goodwill
Exactly.
that it's sort of the same thing that happened with um what do you call this, the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies. Like the first three were so awesome, like everybody like felt good about them, critically acclaimed, made so much money, and then the Hobbit movies came out, and then the first one's like came out and we're all like, yay, it's cool, the characters are back. And then the second comes out, it's like, it's kind of weird. He's kind of rewriting things, but it's still okay. And then by that time, the third one comes out, you're like, oh, we just made it. We're still positive, still positive feelings, but man, we survived that. That
Yeah.
was not as good as the first one. And it's the same thing with this season. Overall, it's still I think the best show on TV. But definitely the good feeling got chipped away, and I'm hoping there's still enough left for for the last season. That towards the end we still have good vibes towards the whole thing, which we do right now, I think.
I think so. And well,
Yeah.
the main criticism for this season is that there was a lot of fan service and
Yes.
not a
There
lot
was.
of, well, you're the guy who's particularly anti fan service, Lex. But I don't mean that in
Ooh.
the anime sense. I mean that in
Yeah,
the just giving the audience what they
what they
want.
want.
Yeah. Did you like the season?
I did, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the obvious difference from the few early seasons, but I just want it to end, and I think that's what they are trying to do.
Let it
Like
end.
close everything up,
Uh-huh.
and how what they did with the season is like accelerate it so that the last season will be like your final touch and close everything, finish the story. Everyone's happy.
Well, not everyone. There's a lot of people still complaining about that finale, like with how Sansa and Arya. Spoilers, by the way, for everyone who hasn't seen this season yet. We're gonna talk some Game of Thrones before we get into some comics talk. A lot of people feel like the Sansa Arya trial of what's his name, Littlefinger, was a little convenient.
Predictable.
Not predictable. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, really?
No,
That was how I was. That was how I predicted it the first time.
season one.
Uh, no, no, like season two. No.
I didn't. I thought it was like a massive swerve from where that plot line was going. I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't even hint at Arya and Sansa working together. Not even a hint.
Yeah.
I was hoping that they were gonna do it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sansa and Arya um, partnering and setting up
Sure.
Littlefinger. So I was kind of surprised that they actually did it because I was just really hoping that that was, like a fanboy's fan dream or whatever or something.
Mm-hmm. Fanboys fan dream. I
Yeah,
like. I like it.
electric fan.
Favorite moments of this season, guys. You have any?
Uh,
I'll cut.
Gotta be the incest, right?
I'll cut this out. I'll cut this out. The pause. What about you, Butch? Let's start with you.
Man, I don't know. It's hard to beat the imagery on that last scene. Sort of that's what's imprinted in my mind right now.
Which last scene?
the
The
one, the
wall coming
boat.
down.
The wall.
Well, John's butt,
CG butt.
I don't know. It's just amazing. Like just the graphics of the whole thing. Like you were
The butt.
saying,
No.
like you and EJ. Stop talking about the butt. You and John and EJ were talking about spectacle, um, and that's as spectacular as it can get. I think with, I mean the dragons have been really good. Have been really well
Hmm.
done since they came out. Since whatever, since season 5 or something. And then just to see the wall coming down, it was really well done. Like each, I don't know. I just really like the maybe because I wasn't watching on like a big screen, but it looked pretty natural enough for me.
Yeah.
And the just yeah, just seeing the wall collapse. That fucking wall finally
Hmm.
collapsed, and then I guess some people were already thinking about it earlier in the season, like, oh, this is what we're gonna see. We're gonna see the or not earlier in the season when Viserion was reincarnated. Oh, this is gonna be the how the wall comes down. But I think it lived up to people's the images that were in my head at least. Like it's about the same, not
Yeah.
necessarily more contrived or anything like that.
I mean, really, they didn't need to take down the entire wall, and it just needed to punch a hole through, and that's what the dragon did, pretty effectively.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
That last shot just sort of fucked me up because you can sort of see. I don't know if that was Winterfell in the
Winterfell.
distance. Yeah,
I think
right.
so. Yeah. I was thinking that's Winterfell.
oh,
That's kind of
But
fucked
isn't
up.
it? Yeah. But isn't it
it's that
supposed
near.
to be far from the wall based on
Not
the map?
I don't know, because
Oh,
they
the
play
map.
it kind of fast
Fuck
and
the map.
loose with the map.
What map?
Yeah,
Yeah, what
Yeah.
map?
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm sorry.
Daenerys might as well have a boom tube at this point. You know.
Yep.
Lex, favorite moment of this season?
First one was when the dragon.
Wow, first one. Wow.
Yeah, the dragon. I don't know the one where the dragon attacked the Lannisters.
The
Lannisters
money
army.
train.
Yeah, money train.
When
Yeah,
the
that
train
one.
attack. Ooh.
And the second one was yeah, Daenerys boom tube to
Wow.
the Iceland.
Iceland.
Yeah, what they call that place?
The North.
The nor beyond the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when the dragon.
The
It's
far north, I
dragons.
guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the dragons versus zombies.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That was pretty cool. Those two might be my favorite moments as well. I still haven't finished my Jamie versus Daenerys drawing. I'll get back to that. But
Yeah, you should.
that might be my favorite moment of this season specifically. And I'm happy to see Jamie and Braun. All their interactions are always my favorite parts.
Jay Braun.
J bro. I was kind of worried in that last few minutes of the finale that
Yeah.
Jamie might have died.
Met died. Yeah.
It would have been cheap, but I was legit worried about him. Mabu.
hmm
The fucking mountain, man, makes you nervous every single
Yeah.
time.
I hate his costume.
What?
The way they covered his face is like a how motorcycle riders have that black thing to cover their face from smoke.
You mean
Right.
helmets?
No, no, not the helmet. The black
The
cloth.
turtleneck pulled
Yeah,
up.
I
they
don't
could have
mind it.
done better,
Like, yeah, I don't mind. It focuses your look on his eyes,
or they
right?
Yeah.
could have done a better helmet,
I like the helmet. It's very Darth Vader.
like a
Yeah.
mouthpiece or a faceplate.
I like that it's black and white now instead of gold.
Or Red Guards.
hmm
It looks scarier.
Yeah. And what else? What else? The Dragon Pit meeting. That was pretty cool. Seeing lots of characters interact for the first time ever, or for the first time in a long time, anyway. I like the fact that after Daenerys shows up with her dragon, the only thing that Cersei can do is complain that she was late, like not intimidated at all. What a bitch.
Cersei, man, she's her acting on that, like, and I don't know if they were doing it on purpose, but the contrast of the amount of I don't know weight that she brought to that scene compared to Daenerys, like they're both supposed to be powerful queens, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, like Daenerys came off like I don't know, she was kind of weak
Yeah,
in
it's
that scene.
also in the blocking of the shots. Like there isn't a single shot where Cersei shares the frame with another character. Cersei is always alone when the camera is on her, whereas when the camera is on Daenerys, she's always got Varys and Tyrion by her side. There aren't any solo shots of Daenerys, and that's sort of like that sort of camera trick that makes Cersei larger in the frame or more powerful, dominant in the frame, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, more of John's butt, Lex.
Best CG ever. It's better than the CG tits.
Who has CG tits?
John too.
The remember
Cersei?
the time? No, no. Remember the time where Bronn
The
was
dragon pit.
in what's that place? With the sisters,
Westeros.
with the
With
assassin
whom?
With the
sisters.
The Assassin Sisters. The Sand
Sisters.
who are
Snakes?
the
Yeah.
prison cell.
Yes.
Those were
Those
Where?
are
CG?
fake?
Yeah, those were CG.
Oh.
I read it somewhere on Reddit or somewhere on the internet.
Oh. I'm not gonna argue with
Oh
you,
god.
connoisseur of CG tits.
CG butts, CG
Uh,
tits, CG dragons.
some speculation for season 8, guys. If you have any, I'm just gonna share something that I thought was gonna happen.
They're all gonna die.
It might still happen. I wasn't expecting the whole conclusion with Littlefinger and stuff because I was kind of hoping that Arya would take his face
Oh
and
yeah,
become Littlefinger. You know, I feel
that's
like
true.
that's the only way she can manage to get close enough to Cersei to do some real damage. And Cersei is still on her list. Now I forget.
Right.
Do the Lannisters
Or
hate Littlefinger? I forget.
maybe
It's so complicated at this point. I feel like everybody hates everybody.
What did they know? I can't remember. Did they know that he was the one behind the Sansa's escape? I guess they do.
I guess they do.
They probably know, like, yeah, like news probably travels fast enough that by now they know he's in charge of the Vale. So
They have Twitter, the Ravens.
Ravens. So that are you saying that you want that could still happen, right? So
Yeah,
you want that to happen, right?
That might
but
happen because
it's less
they killed
likely.
him.
It's less likely now because if they were gonna do that, the show would have done it in such a way that we're not sure if that's Arya or not. But now, if
We know.
Littlefinger shows up in season 8, we know for sure it's Arya. You
Or
know,
it's a
so
flashback.
they don't really do flashbacks. But
Well, Bran can do anything now.
it's less likely now. What about speculations on your end, guys, if any? Or what do you want to see?
Me, I think a lot of them are gonna probably die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's gonna be
yeah.
sad.
It's either, when the Mountain
Oh man,
and the Hound will fight each other, so they probably both will die.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Clegane Bowl.
yeah, maybe Bronn will die as well. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of possibilities. It won't be a Game of Thrones unless, those key characters, yeah, get
I
killed
know.
in one way or another.
Oh man. We're for sure gonna get some sad reveals in season 8. Like, we're not gonna expect it, but among the White Walkers, we're just gonna suddenly see Tormund and Beric Dondarrion there.
And 1-1
And
and Hodor.
and Hodor, yeah, and probably Gendry, right? Because he was
No,
there.
he's in Castle Black.
No,
Oh,
he's in Eastwatch.
Wait, did they move him?
He was with Tormund. That's where they ended up.
Oh, he ran to Eastwatch.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Okay,
he
right,
should
right.
still be in that in
Yeah.
that structure when it falls. So he's probably
He,
they're all
he
whites.
runs fast though, so
Hold on, Alex muted for some reason. Lex? Okay. But yeah, those are my speculations for season 8. If you guys have nothing to add, can move on.
yeah,
you know, just excited for 2019, I guess.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
2019.
It's gonna be
I
a
thought it's
while.
gonna be next year.
Nah, I might. Nah. Um, for the listeners, I just want to remind you guys that you can subscribe to Tres Comic Heroes via iTunes, Podcast Republic, and you can follow us on Facebook as well. We are recording this episode via Discord, our Discord server. You can
Yeah.
find details on that on the Facebook page. And what's cool is if this works out, we can actually do live recordings in the future where some of you listeners, if you want, you can listen in on the show and hear all the dirt that goes down and
Mm-hmm.
who we make fun of
Mm-hmm.
in between episodes. Yeah, especially
Yeah.
Alex. He hates that one guy, his arch
Mm.
nemesis. Right? Not gonna name
EJ?
names. Yeah,
You talking
yeah.
about EJ?
Shh, 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 shh.
Oh,
All
cut
right.
that out. Cut that out.
All right. Before we talk some comics, we're gonna talk some more comics. What? We're gonna talk the top 10 books of July 2017, sales-wise,
Naruto.
guys. These are Western comics.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
no need to tell
Naruto.
me. Correct. Correct. No need to tell me the issue numbers. Just tell me the titles, And yeah, I'll tell you if they're on the list or not. The top 10 books of July 2017. Go.
July.
Mm-hmm.
Several Secret Empires and several Batman.
Whoa, you're amazing. You're amazing. There are
That's
two
all of it.
there are two Secret Empire issues, specifically issues 6 and 7
Wow.
at number 5 and 6 specifically. Both at roughly 85,000 units shipped.
Not bad.
There are also two, make that three Batman books. Batman 26 and Batman 27 at 3 and 4, roughly 105 units shipped. And
Wow.
the number one book is Dark Days the Casting, a Batman event, at 130 units shipped. 130,000 units shipped,
Ooh.
sorry. Anything else, guys? Those are 5 marked off the list so far.
A Spider-Man book.
A Spider-Man book. We have Spider-Man 2, number 1, sitting at number 10 with 67,000 units shipped.
How about so Spectacular Spider-Man number 2 or something? Did that make it?
I think that was... no, it's not in the top 10. It's not even in the... Oh, it's in the top 20. It's number 17. But we're not talking about that, are we?
Peter Parker.
Wait, so,
Spectacular
oh man, that was a big
Spider-Man.
drop.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
That was number 1
Last month.
Last month, right?
Yeah, the month previous,
Holy
rather.
Wow.
Okay.
Yikes.
You guys, there are 4 books left.
Star Wars.
Of course, Star Wars number 33 sits at number 7 with 75,000 units shipped.
Guardians
Number
of the
33,
Galaxy.
That's amazing.
Nope. No Guardians.
Um,
Star Wars is so
What else?
consistent.
yeah.
I know, in issue 33, dude.
And this is Jason Aaron, and 33 is Jesus' age.
Astonishing X-Men.
What?
I don't know what that has to do with
Oh,
anything.
yeah.
Astonishing X-Men sits at number 2
Yes.
Nice.
with 122,000 units shipped. That leaves
Issue 1?
issue 1,
Issue
correct.
1. Yeah.
That leaves
Okay.
2 more books, guys. One's an
DuckTales.
image
How
book.
about The Forge? Did that come out?
Uh,
That was June
yeah. The Forge is the month previous.
before casting.
Yeah, 2 more books. 1 Marvel, 1 Image. The Image book is easy.
Saga.
The other one,
Walking
Walking
Dead.
Dead.
The Walking Dead, number 169, sits at number 9 with 68,000 units shipped. That leaves 1 more
Are
book.
Are they like planning that? Like Walking Dead and Saga don't come out at the same time?
Probably.
Probably,
I mean,
yeah.
that'd be smart of them.
Yeah.
Defenders.
And one more.
No.
Ooh,
not,
nice.
Not Defenders. Good guess.
Huh.
It's a Marvel book. It's a first issue. It's a character I don't give 2 shits about.
Jean Grey.
No. He looks like Spider-Man.
Deadpool.
Deadpool kills Marvel Universe again. Number 1 sits at
Wow.
number 8
Wow.
with 74,000 units shipped, and I don't give a
They're-
shit.
They're still making
Ah.
Deadpool books.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet that has like a high price tag too.
I
much?
closed the browser already, so I didn't check. But
you really don't give a shit.
but yeah, those are the top 10 books sales-wise in July 2017. Let's move on
Wow.
to some comics talk, guys. It's Kirby month, celebrating the
Nintendo.
celebrating all things Jack Kirby, the king of comics, and all his creations. And I know some of us read some Kirby-centric material for this week. I read a bit, and we would be remiss if we didn't cover some Dark Knight's Metal, because that's the big deal these past 3 weeks, really, the Batman event.
Right.
So let's do some Kirby stuff first. Let's begin with Butch, actually. What'd you read, man?
Right. I read some original Kirby stuff.
Oh, shit.
Some old shit.
His diary.
Yeah. I went back back to his birth. What's this? So yeah, I wanted to read some Kirby stuff,
So
and I
old he
looked
forgot.
through what I actually have that Kirby did, like Kirby issues, and I have some old Journey into Mysteries.
Oh,
Uh, these came out. Like it's crazy, man. These came out in 1963,
Oh, wow.
which is what like 55,
wow.
54 years ago.
Hmm.
Holy shit!
You're old.
I know. I remember when I bought these, 12 cents. Uh,
I imagine Butcher
anyway,
wearing one of those propeller hats. Oh, time to get me funny books.
so it's interesting. Uh, like okay, so Kirby gets a lot of credit as he should for for creating the Marvel universe. But he actually like if you think about his runs, um, like there are things that I guess are like we forget like Kirby didn't really do that much in the early Marvel. I mean, no, he didn't do as much as we think. There you go.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like if you think about like the early Iron Man issues were by what's his name
Don Heck.
yeah, Don Heck. Even though I think Kirby designed the costume, and might be the same thing with Spider-Man. I think Kirby did the first cover, but obviously Steve Ditko did that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
He was on Avengers, but he was also replaced after 20 issues by might have been Don Heck too, and like on X-Men, his run on X-Men was canceled. Like it wasn't a hit. But if you look at what he stayed on, like the real Kirby shit from the 60s, I'm assuming it's the stuff that he loved the most was Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
which he did. He famously did like whatever 100 something issues,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and Thor, actually. Uh,
Eh.
I and knowing what we know now about Kirby, what he would go on to do in the 70s, namely Eternals and the New Gods thing, he was really into this stuff, right? He was really into mythologies and actually like the end of the world and then the rebirth and remaking new gods. So you can understand why he has decided to stick on to Journey into Mystery. So anyway, so the issues that I have are number 102 and 103. And again, it's interesting. I bought these. I picked these up because these have some first appearances. These are like uh, what we call keys in the collector parlance.
Ooh.
Uh, 102 is the first appearance of Sif and Hela,
Okay.
and 103 is the first appearance of the original duo, the Enchantress and the Executioner. And I don't know, it's just really interesting because we think of these characters as being like part of Thor's uh, almost like there's like his rogues gallery for sure. Like they're part of the lore of the lore of Thor, I guess.
The Thor
But
lore.
this but
Thorlor. Thorlor.
Thor first appeared in Journey into Mystery number 83, and this is about almost 2 years later. So it's interesting to see like them building
Yeah.
the universe. Like it takes time, it takes time to build these things, even though we think of them as being, like they were producing nothing but hits. But it's very interesting, like 2 years after Thor first appears, that's when we see Balder for the first time. Like
Hmm.
what's he been doing for 20 years? And on one of the issues, there's a Daredevil number one ad, which is like insane to me. Like Daredevil's kind of late to the whole thing. Anyway, um, so these were done by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, of course. Um, but we do know that the way they worked back then, Kirby wasn't just an artist. Like he probably did some of at least some of the plotting.
Co-plots.
Yeah, for sure, right? And he was never credited, but yeah. So I'm basically that's it's kind of like he's a co-writer as
Yeah, I
much
mean,
as
this was when Marvel style was invented, practically.
yeah, right. And one of the reasons for Marvel that style to even happen is because Jack Kirby had to do this shit really, really fast.
Hmm.
He's known for penciling 3 to 4 books a month. Um, and so
Jesus.
yeah, what's this? Right. So in reading this, the thing that you'll really notice as a modern reader is, of course, the melodrama. Copious amounts of melodrama
Mm-hmm.
in the writing and the art. Things are exaggerated. Things are invented on the fly. Like like Stanley would invent stuff like a protecto robot. Like or alpha particles, or like stuff that doesn't isn't really grounded in science, I guess. Which
Sure.
this is a Thor book, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you're not really expecting that. Um, uh, and in terms of the art, um, the inker for these two issues is Chick Stone, and he's one of the. I mean, Kirby's big two inkers, or whatever. His most famous inker is Joe Sinnott, I guess, and other guys have inked him, and Chick Stone is one of the more popular ones, I guess. But I actually didn't like what Chick Stone was doing here compared to the Joe Sinnott stuff, because Joe Sinnott would ink him, I think, with more of like a thicker, juicier line, sort of like what Tom Palmer was doing over John Buscema's art
Mm-hmm.
on Avengers. So like probably using like a heavy brush. Meanwhile, Chick Stone was kind of, as far as I can tell anyway, it looks like he was using a quill, or maybe a combination of a brush and a quill. So it looks a little bit more modern, but less Kirby, right? Like what you would think of as Jack Kirby art.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. It's not bad. There's actually a backup done with on one of the issues with another inker who I've never heard of. I can't even remember his name, but it was really subpar. Uh, Paul, I'm looking at it now. Paul Rainman, whatever happened to that guy, right?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Exactly. And just looking at the art, um, the thing that I noticed the most was, so Kirby's notorious for sticking to grids, right? Grids, and he didn't do any fancy tricks with his paneling. Famously, he would do like not nine panels, sorry, 3 rows. He do 3 rows, and you can predict pretty much like 3 rows, and then either 2 or 3 panels per row, or he'd do 4 same sized panels on the page, right? Divided
With a cross.
horizontally and vertically. Yeah. And what I noticed was the panels where the pages where he only does the 4 panels thing, they're so good.
Hmm.
Like he has so much space to play, and I just noticed that each one, like the composition, the framing that he does for these panels, it's so inspired. I think that's because he was probably like pacing the stories whenever he would do this, and so he'd give himself the space to be more artistic and more creative with the layouts. Because when he was doing the other, whenever there were 3 rows on a page, the storytelling was just very utilitarian. Like it just did what it had to do,
Sure.
which is fine too. Like he's a very capable storyteller. Of course, this is Jack Kirby, but they're not. I wouldn't call them beautiful panels, right? But he does this thing, especially for both issues. They started like a Tales of Asgard backup, and I think these were reprinted in the Chris Samney series that you guys were into. And these are just backups of Thor in his younger days.
Oh,
And
Thor the Mighty Avenger, that series?
yeah,
Insomnia?
I think they
Okay.
might have been reprinting these in those comics.
Mm-hmm.
A- And for these, it's noticeable that Jack just does his 4 panel thing for every page, and it's so good. Like each panel, like so many panels could be, oh, that could be a cover, that could be a poster. It's really beautiful stuff.
The four.
So yeah,
Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt you, but the four-panel grid
go ahead.
thing probably speaks a lot. of the it showcases the strengths of the Marvel style because when Kirby would do the four-panel grids on some pages, and as you said, those look the best. He liked to pace his stories based on action beats, and that's what
Hmm.
he would be able to do with a grid. Like, not necessarily emotional beats. Sometimes it would be emotional beats, but primarily, telling a story with action is really the best way to go, especially on a book that has Norse gods in it or a Thor book.
Yes.
So
Right.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And it's really amazing. Of course, Stan and Jack had it down to a science, I guess. But at this point, like they were using the Marvel style, but it wasn't too clunky. Except for like sometimes you'd see the lettering would kind of go over a guy's face or his hair or whatever. Like that's the only time where okay, you can tell it's not as beautiful as it should be.
Sure.
And there's less of that on the four panel pages, I think. What else? And yeah, Walt Simonson famously has like a quote about when artists stick to grids. Sorry, there's a lot of artist talk. I'm focusing on Jack
That's
stuff.
fine.
Simonson said, or maybe it was Larson. I'm sorry, I can't remember who, but he said something like, "If you're gonna do grids, you better be a master of the craft because you won't be able to play with you're not able to play with panel shapes
Mm-hmm.
or panel sizes if you constrain yourself to grids." And you can see here exactly that, like, because Kirby, I don't know if it was OC or whatever, but he was always doing that, almost always consistent. Like you will actually notice if you see there's like a few panels where they're like widescreen panels, like the shape,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, that's. I kind of noticed it. It actually kind of like stopped me in my tracks. I think he did that like for like 3 or 4 panels in 2 issues, right? But yeah, so he always stuck to that formula, and without that ability to manipulate your panels, your the content of your panels has to be really engaging, and Kirby shows here that he is obviously a master of that.
I 100% agree. And I feel like, I'm sorry to the audience that we're gonna go a little inside baseball here. So this is specifically for artist fans. Well, I guess some comic fans will appreciate this too. That's the tragedy of the grids, right? Be it a four-panel grid, six, eight, nine-panel grid, is that at first glance it looks boring,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Hmm.
will turn off a casual comic fan, like specifically somebody who's trying comics out for the first time. The, you know, it's not necessarily very appealing to a new fan. Whereas once if you've been around a while and you know how this medium works, that's when you can really see that stuff like that is some of the hardest stuff to do. Like only masters can pull that off. Dave Gibbons, Jack Kirby,
Yeah.
that's hard shit. And
Janamo.
are you? What are these issues again, Butch? I'm gonna try to track them down
Yeah,
digitally
me
if I
too.
have to.
This is Journey into Mystery number 102 and 103.
Nice. You actually should never apologize if you talk too much about art because I was chatting these past couple of nights with our friend, one of my favorite artists, Koi Carrion. I like to say
Hmm.
his name like it's French, Koi Carrion. And
Quoi?
he
Quoi?
said, Butch, that he really enjoyed your let's call it your dissection of Robotech
Oh
Ooh.
man.
last episode. So he really enjoyed stuff like that. So
I feel bad.
well, yeah. I appreciate artists like Koi listening to our show, and apparently he likes it when we tear some assholes apart. Not calling that artist an
And he's
asshole.
doing and he's doing the Voltron cover. You see that? That was so good.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he did. He did one.
Let's dissect that next. I think. No, I'm just kidding. Let's.
So perfect.
He did a
Nice,
variant cover.
nice. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it's great. Let's move on to our next book. Lex, what you got?
Okay.
What you
I
Oh,
got?
oh,
I finally
ooh,
finished. This week we get to see the release of Secret Empire number 10,
oh, Jack Kirby.
the the finale to Jack Kirby's masterpiece, ultimate masterpiece.
Where all his characters are ruined.
Yeah,
Go on.
there's a lot of standing around, punching each other.
Oh man.
Anyway, I
What is
won't.
this, 2008?
This is regarding the story. I won't regarding the art. There are lots of complaints about it, specifically in this book because in one issue, oh no, that was issue number 9. This one is by Steve McNiven, but the quality isn't that good. It is kind of rushed. So I won't.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Ooh.
I won't delve into it. The thing is,
interesting.
in issue 8, there was something happened wherein the the heroes were or the parang nilabaw na sila ba? Sila ganun?
They had the advantage.
Yeah, they had the advantage. They
Butch,
had
did
the
you get that?
advantage, and and then in issue 9, it was reversed because Steve Rogers was um like they were trying to get all the pieces of the cosmic cube, and
Mm.
all of the pieces are there except for one piece. So let's say there were 9 pieces, and it
I
was
love One Piece.
yeah, and then they crafted it into his armors or whatever. So, and in this issue, we start off with Steve Rogers with a Hydra armor suit with the cosmic cube power within him. So he kind of transforms everything into his image and stuff. But then something weird happens. If you if you've been reading the books,
You can
there were
spoil it.
some there
Spoil it.
are like parts where it looks like a flashback.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, that happens inside the cosmic cube with Kobik.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Kobik is the
it's
living
the
cosmic
living
cube.
cosmic cube.
Okay.
So
I
we
hate it
get,
so much.
yeah, I don't know. What they did was Bucky kind of pulled out Kobik from the cosmic cube
Mm-hmm.
because he,
Bucky.
yeah, and
Okay.
then,
Do you
and,
mean Bucky pulled out Steve from the Cosmic Cube?
no,
I think he
he
died.
pulled
I think
out
he was dead.
Kobik with Steve
I
from the
thought Kobik
cosmic cube.
I thought Kobik was the Cosmic Cube.
Yeah, but the members of Kobik are in the Cosmic Cube.
This is so fucked up. Fuck this book.
The members? Did you say
The
members?
memories.
Oh.
Memories. But the
Memories.
way that he can access these memories is to be so small. So with the help of Ant-Man and his...
Wait. What?
Yeah, it's amazing.
You okay?
So when
Just keep
Kobik
talking.
was pulled out, she reversed what Hydra Cap did and
Mm-hmm.
also pulled out Real Cap from the flashback
Okay.
memories thing.
Jesus
So
Christ.
Hydra Cap and Real Cap fought together. Hydra Cap lost, but when we got to the end of the book, it had, you know, no specific closure.
Did you
Like,
like it?
no. It was a waste of time.
Do you feel
Um,
like I mean this book started roughly half a year ago, right? Or a
was
year ago, I guess?
No,
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 it
no,
was
no. It
this
started
year.
Free Comic Book Day.
Mayish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Free
Okay,
Comic Book
okay,
Day.
okay, sorry. Secret Empire is this year, but the reveal that Steve Rogers was Hydra was from last year,
Yes.
From
right?
last year.
Okay,
Come
so
on,
Right.
it's been
Nick Spencer, he's a good writer. There are some parts of the book where he shines, especially when it's character interaction. But events
Mm-hmm.
books like this, I think these are, you know,
Sure.
like mandated by management, and
by
as
editorial.
workers, yeah, you're like, yeah, we just have to do these. Just I just work here.
Now listen,
No.
I was gonna ask you because that ending feels weird, and it's been almost a year since this whole thing started. Do
Hmm.
you feel like they changed a lot of stuff because of Donald Trump?
I don't know. I can't say.
Like,
Uh,
I
what if
can't.
we
I
were
can't.
so?
I can't
okay.
see the connection. I'm not good with connecting political things with
Now, listen,
comics.
as you guys know, I'm
No.
very I'm very aware of this stuff. I have my thumb on the pulse of the nation, just
Yeah,
not
sure.
this nation.
Uh-huh.
I'm, no, I'm kidding. I mean, it seems to me like this Hydra Cap was supposed to be the real Cap. This was supposed to be who we were gonna get from now on, and they cobbled together this weird ending that the real Cap was in the cube the whole time. It that feels cobbled together to me.
No, I think that was what they were planning in the first place. It's just the execution wasn't done well.
I disagree that that's what they were planning in the first place, but that's just my opinion.
Well, your
You
opinion
can't
is
change
wrong.
it.
I'm gonna
Wait, I
edit
have a
you out,
question.
Butch.
Okay, TLDR, what the fuck happened with Hydra? Who's Hydra Cap? I
Hydra
don't understand.
Hydra
Hydra
Cap is
Cap
evil cap.
Hydra Cap was never Hydra Cap was never the real Cap. It was revealed, according to Alex, that this new Hydra Cap was a
Okay.
new version generated within the cube.
Eh, okay.
With
So real cap, I don't know,
Real cap is
gets
the
shunted
essence
into
of the
the
real
cube.
cap that
was
was
trapped.
trapped inside the cube.
Okay, and then Hydra Cap popped out.
Yeah.
Hydra
So
Cap is
right?
Okay.
physically the original Captain America, but because of the Cosmic Cube and Red Skull, they corrupted his memory, which turned him into a Hydra agent.
It feels like
When did
a
that happen?
it feels like a bullshit switcheroo ending to me.
Yes.
When did that happen? Like, was that from Nick Spencer's run or from before?
Nick Spencer's one. Captain America. Ask
So
EJ.
that's when the switch happened. Okay.
EJ is catching up on it.
I
That
hate
was
it.
around last year. The thing is, although a lot of people did not like what Nick Spencer was doing with Captain America, I
Mm-hmm.
had a small hint of hope that they might turn around everything with a good ending. But it
Did
turns
they?
out,
Sure.
no, they did not, and it's just another way of Marvel disappointing their
Mm.
audience.
Yay!
Come on, man. Here's my nice Marvel comic.
Yeah,
So,
well,
yeah, when people ask me, sir, Marvel, DC, and it's very hard to answer. As a
is
fan of
it
comic books, I'd
Um,
like to be able to, engage with younger audience, such as my students, but
uh,
yeah,
is that your
ah,
reaction? Was that your reaction? You sound like Arnold
Arnold
Schwarzenegger on
Schwarzenegger,
Mars
yeah,
in
yeah.
Total Recall.
Nah.
Get out!
uh, but
Yeah,
yeah, okay. I feel like we were expecting that to not really deliver. It's been in the top 10 sort of consistently though, which is impressive, I guess.
because of the hype,
People
man.
like it.
Yeah,
Because of the
event.
hype. And
People like it,
like
guys.
issue 9,
Fuck.
there's like 4 or 5 artists
Yeah,
Well,
in the
Jesus,
books.
Jesus
What's
Size, McNiven, Lanel, and some other dude.
the flashback dude? I forgot his name. He actually
Jesus
has nice
Size,
wait,
art.
Size is the one who had
flashbacks.
the thing,
No,
right?
no, no,
No,
no.
the
Uh,
controversy,
Size
scandal.
has wonderful art when he did
Ah.
Birds of Prey. Man, I love his art in Birds of Prey.
From now on, every time Alex uses the word wonderful, not that it's a criticism, because I like it when he does. From now on,
Mhm.
from every episode from now
Get a
on,
drink.
I will insert sparkle sounds in the
I
in the
love it.
background. It's wonderful.
Oh, wow, wow,
Yeah. All right. So if you're done with that, I'll move on to my book. I read in celebration of Kirby Month, Mr. Miracle number
Yay!
one,
Yay.
Woohoo!
written by Tom King with art by Mitch
Miss
Gerrards.
Gerard.
the
Those guys are good.
Sheriff of Babylon team, or is it Sheriff of Baghdad? Which one is it?
Babylon.
I think it was originally Sheriff of Baghdad, and he had to change it to Sheriff of Babylon. Um,
Trademarks.
yeah. This is about scot-free, as the title suggests. With Tom King, especially since the Vision series. Whoa.
Sorry.
What the fuck? Since the Vision series, he does like to take this off-kilter approach to some of the less popular heroes. And I would, I love the character, but I
Hmm.
would definitely call Mr. Miracle C-list.
Yes.
Lower B list at best, but C list more probable. Uh, he is the premier escape artist superhero of DC, son of Allfather, foster son of Darkseid, raised on Apocalypse, and tormented as a youth by Granny Goodness and all that
Hmm.
other stuff. I'm a big fan. Here in this book, Tom King is exploring his more human side, I want to say. Only one issue is out, so there's not a lot I can really say about that. It opens with him attempting to commit suicide. And not just your wishy-washy slit your wrists thing that some
Hmm.
people try to do. He he not a horizontal slit. He has vertical slits on both arms. So he knew what he was doing, and a lot of weird stuff happens in the hospital. A lot of sad stuff actually.
Hmm.
Or Orion comes to visit him, and you don't know if it's out of sadness or frustration, but he actually beats him up while he's still recuperating in the hospital. Um, we also find out that Scott is having delusions because he still sees Oberon, his old friend, who's a gnome, I want to say, or a dwarf, who helps him with his tech, and he sees him in training sessions, but Oberon's been dead a while,
Dead.
according to Big Barda. So
Dead
there's
dude.
something kind of off with Scott. Um, the issue runs its course, sort of, I want to say, very boringly. Nothing really happens in this. It just wraps up with them being called to action by Orion when he tells them that Darkseid finally has the anti-life equation and Allfather has been defeated. Or is it Allfather was dead? I forget which. But what's interesting, excuse me, what's interesting about this first issue is the use of 9-panel grids almost all throughout. And we feel the presence of Darkseid in practically every page, even though we don't see a single illustration of him. It's just that in every page out of the 9 panels, there is one panel that just says Darkseid
Dark side.
is.
Yeah.
Darkseid is, period. That's white letters on black background. And I feel like, what does that say really? Does that say Darkseid is, meaning he exists? Or
Dark side is Alex's prom date.
yeah, dot dot dot.
Oh
Darkseid
yeah.
is dot dot dot. And the device that Tom King and Jared's employs in this is that Darkseid's presence in every page becomes more apparent as the issue goes on, because from occupying one panel, he ends up occupying 2, 3, 4 panels, and he begins to smother uh, Mr. Miracles every day, and he can't help but feel this looming threat of Darkseid just building up in the background, even though we don't actually see the character. And I thought that was interesting. Personally,
Hmm.
though, I didn't enjoy this issue very much. I mean, I will enjoy every Mr. Miracle comic that comes out because it comes out rarely enough, but I didn't quite get what this is trying to do or where it's trying to go.
Yes. I'm not
But
alone.
because of Vision, it's the Game of Thrones thing where these two creators have built up some goodwill with me, and I will see this series through, actually up until the end. I think it's just maxi series of 12, I'm not sure. But
Hmm.
did you guys check this out?
I did,
Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
and um, maybe it's just me, but I kind of find it confusing.
Yeah. Well, not confusing. It just. But go on.
Um, kind of. I thought there was a starting point because we are we were gonna talk about him as a person because of his suicidal attempt, but then as a book, um, as you read through the book, I I kind of find it hard to get a sense of a direction that where are they going with this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he committed suicide. He might have some mental issues. With the scene with the All Father, um, with Barda, and with the dark side, hints. Then at the end of the book, it's like, well, so what's next? So where do we
Yeah.
start? Well, yeah, kind of like that. And although I might not be that well versed with, Mr. Miracle and those group of characters,
Mm-hmm.
but at least it would have been better if, we have a sense of direction. Where are we going with this story or with this
Mm-hmm.
book?
Yeah. Also, I, as much as I like it, but don't really know where it's going, I actually hesitate to recommend this to first-time fans, even though it's a first
Yeah,
issue,
that's
because
true.
it doesn't really tell you who Mr. Miracle is. It doesn't set up the whole Orion and Scott exchange to put a truce or put a ceasefire on the Apocalypse War. It doesn't explain that whole thing. It doesn't explain his origin, and it doesn't really touch on anything that has to do with his relationship with Darkseid even. Not even a hint of that. Aside from the fact that there's a mention that he grew up on Apocalypse, or rather he was raised by Granny, but other than that,
Right.
not really. It feels like
Hmm.
a weak first issue to me unless you already know who Mr. Miracle is.
Right.
This is a book for people who already know who these characters are. Other than that, you'll be completely lost, I think. So, Butch, I don't know if you'll dig this. Did you give this a try?
No, I just looked at some online pages.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Like, isn't so? How did they handle the whole suicide thing? Isn't that like I don't know? It's like it's kind of surprising that DC would give the okay for that to be part of something that I'm assuming it's kind of a high profile book for them.
What do you mean? How did they handle it? Explain your
Wait,
question.
no, it's just the fact that because I read the solicit and it's like what's his name?
Scot free.
Scott Free has escaped from every trap in the universe except death. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, the first thing I thought was it. Uh, that can't be about suicide, right? And then now I hear that you guys are talking about uh, they did actually. He actually did try to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Like, did they did they make that explicit? Like, did they? And how is
He
he?
was he
Did they
was
show
he
that he
was sitting
wasn't?
in the
It wasn't
bathroom
about.
with his wrist slit and
Yeah, that's
blood
literally
gushing.
the first page, double page spread.
Yeah,
Uh huh.
It's him sitting
So
on the bathroom floor with his wrists open, his blood all over his hands, and in the foreground is a razor blade.
so this is like so. It, it wasn't like a fantastic kind of suicide. It's pretty like down to earth kind of
yeah,
Yeah,
thing.
I'd say
yes.
so.
That's weird. And they did they make sure to explain it wasn't because of like depression? Did they try to address like any potential landmines when it comes to stuff like this? This topic? It's just weird.
They don't really go into why he did it. Like Barda asks him, and he doesn't really talk about it. So I feel like he's gonna get there. We're gonna get there with Tom King's gonna go down that road as the series continues because he can't just drop a bomb like that and you know play it off like it was just a dynamite opening. I feel like he's an accomplished enough writer to know to revisit that to explain it. There's a portion in the issue where he's talking to a late night show host who asks him
Hmm.
why he did it, and Scott Free says that because he wanted to escape death, and it plays off like he was just spinning it or giving an excuse, and it doesn't really seem like the crowd or the host bought it. So it's obviously Tom King obviously means for it to be a shallow answer to a deeper truth, which I think we're gonna find out. I hope anyway.
Right. So if you're looking to recommend this, this isn't like a light-hearted kind of, because I don't know why, but I associate that with Mr. Miracle. Like he's kind of happy-go-lucky and
Not
kind
really.
of
Like I can understand why you would think that, but in Mr.
it's a
Miracle's
costume,
past
man.
stories, yeah, it's the costume, sure, but in his past stories, there's some heavy stuff. There's child labor in some of his books, enslavement
Okay.
for sure.
All right.
They don't go as far as showing rape or anything, but some bad stuff goes down in the apocalypse prison camps and Granny Goodness. But he's gone through some shit, you know, like because he was given to Darkseid as like a 6-year old boy,
Right.
and he grew up over there. So there's a lot to this character, and
Okay.
I feel like the crew that brought us Vision and how fucked up that was would be responsible enough to do this some justice. I hope anyway.
I hope
Uh,
so. Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
To wrap up our comics talk, I want to cover the biggest book I think that came out this week, and this is the start of the DC event, Dark Knights, or is it Dark Knights Metal, which is
Metal.
in the elevator pitch, I guess. Batman discovers that he has his version of the Spider Verse, which is various versions of Batman from different sections of the multiverse, except they're all evil,
Right.
and they're all coming to Earth, our Earth, to wreak some havoc.
Okay.
Or is it the New 52 Earth? Whatever. Um,
Okay.
this is
Okay.
by Scott Snyder and Papi Capullo, Greg Capullo, and it's pretty cool. They're saying that all the Electrum and all the different kinds of exotic metals that were discussed in Snyder's Batman run all feed into this somehow. I don't see it yet, but
They will.
yeah,
Maybe.
some some artifacts are discovered. There's a big mountain that just suddenly shows up in the middle of Gotham City. And long story short, all these artifacts point to a forgotten evil god or forgotten dark god of some sort. And with the help of what's her name? Kendra. What's her name? Hawk Girl? Is it
Hawk
Kendra?
Girl.
Yeah.
Kendra something.
With her help, they find out she's one of the Blackhawks now. The Justice League finds out that this dark god is in need of a vessel or a wagon to bring his embodiment and his dark army to Earth. Now, the thing is, and I'm gonna spoil this, the thing is, wagon is the etymology relates to the word Wayne, as in Bruce Wayne. So the going theory and what this whole thing operates on is that this dark god and all the dark Batmen are going to come to Earth via Bruce Wayne
Bruce Wayne.
somehow, or to come for Bruce Wayne.
Oh.
So that sets up that's a cool premise, and I dig it a lot. But my favorite part in this is the fact that Kendra and the Blackhawks are explaining all of this to the Justice League using Grant Morrison's multiverse map from
Mhm.
Multiversity. But
Oh.
and then she tells them that I don't know where in the multiverse all these beings will be coming from, and then she physically flips the map onto the back, which is completely black. So that hints at a dark multiverse, which I think is awesome. So apparently that's where the Dark God is coming from. His name is Barbatos or Barbatos, who I think was first introduced in, or the idea of him was first introduced in Morrison's run with the Batman RIP stuff, I think.
Ah,
And I think that's kind of cool. Did you read this, Lex? Butch?
I did.
What'd you think?
When we go into Morrison stuff, my
Mm-hmm.
head kind of hurts.
Yeah.
So I hope Snyder won't go full Morrison on it. But
I hope he
so far
kind
so
of
good.
does.
Yeah, I kind of started with the Forge, and I was interested, and
Mm-hmm.
now I like how while they were trying to catch Batman, Batman was just basically, yeah, I just need that metal thing,
Yeah.
and escapes riding a dinosaur.
Devil
Yeah,
Dinosaur.
yeah, he escapes riding a dinosaur.
Kirby.
So, and then at the end of the issue, we see. Can we spoil it?
Yeah, sure. Wait,
Yeah,
wait, wait,
Go.
wait. Has Butch read it?
No, but go.
Okay, okay.
yeah. At the end, Butch, we see Dream from Sandman,
Morpheus.
Morpheus. He's talking to Batman.
That's the last page or whatever.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
last
the last
page.
page.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. So they're
So
tying
this,
in all the universes here.
yeah, they're gonna tie. They might be, tying them all up in
Mm-hmm.
this event, which
I
is
like it.
kind of
Oh,
cool.
and
Yeah.
the Watchmen are coming out.
Yeah. With the Watchmen probably focusing on Superman, I have zero problems with the Endless focusing on Batman.
Batman.
That's gonna be cool, I think. Does this seem
Yeah, this
interesting to you guys?
DC is kind of making a cool thing now. So by Marvel,
What did you say? DC is kind of what?
making a cool thing.
Yeah, I like this.
I
Does,
like it. Yeah.
does it sound interesting to you, Butch?
Nope.
What? How come? Aren't you a
I
Sandman
don't
fan?
like. No, hell no. I don't like the multiverse for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the most childish thing ever. Uh, I don't. I mean, I don't like it when they emphasize it so much. Like, I don't. I appreciate the concept of a multiverse
Mm-hmm.
because of the stories that you can tell with that. But when you codify it, and you make it your selling point, that's like, ugh. And I especially don't like, and this isn't an anti-DC thing because I hated it when Marvel did it too, when they fold in different lines
Secret War.
in exactly
Mm-hmm.
Secret Wars with the Ultimate Universe.
Hmm.
Again, that's kind of whenever I see that shit, it's like, oh, this is so childish. Like these concepts can stand apart from each other. It's fine, and this isn't against the endless the Vertigo stuff
Mm-hmm.
folding into DC because they've done that before, and that's fine. Uh, I guess it's not even related to whoa,
Jesus.
not even related to what was I saying? Not even related to
Endless.
metal, but more of the Watchmen stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but personally, and on another thing, I'm just not a fan of Batman getting involved with cosmic anything. Like I hate that. I'm sorry.
I think it's
Okay,
I don't
kind of
like it.
cool.
that's fine.
I like him. I love Batman. Everybody loves Batman. I like him. Like when I see him punching Darkseid, it's like, it's just weird.
It's too
It's not
much.
wrong. It's just not. It's not my thing. There you go. Other people can like it, and that's fine.
You
I don't like him punching Darkseid. Or I don't know. Darkseid should anyway.
Well, to be fair, Darkseid did end up killing him after Batman shot him. So
Did he?
yeah, he ended up.
There's a guy who's running around named Bruce Wayne. I don't
It's
know.
not. It's not the same. You'd have to read it. But that's
God damn,
me.
I think I
That's
should my
me.
ass.
That's me being a Morrison apologist, of course, 100%. But
Oh, I love Morrison.
uh, I don't know if you'd like Final Crisis if you don't like Batman going up against Darkseid. Then you'd probably hate it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I kind of
Is
hate
that?
it.
It's not just about that, right?
No, it's not just about that. It's not Batman centric, for sure.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I'd read that. I think I did I think I ordered the there's like a artist edition of the first issue.
Mm-hmm. And when it got there, you
So
threw it away.
no, I'm probably I introduced it to my friend the fire. No. uh,
But Lex,
I'm gonna read that.
get
Yes.
into what you thought of this. I know it's a difficult book to review.
It
I'm struggling myself, but
it kind
really,
of
what
made
did?
my head hurt
Mm-hmm.
because it plays with Morrison stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm used to Batman being, a detective, fighting,
Uh-huh.
yeah, crimes that are within Gotham itself,
Mm-hmm.
and not really
Amen.
more into solving, multi-universal mysteries. But with what Snyder is doing, it does have that, kind of interest that got me going. So what's he gonna do next?
Mm.
Yeah, I might, I might fully, accept it as what it is. Although as reading it, just, ow, oh, that map, yeah, it was kind of hard to read because Morrison, but I still like it.
Okay. Now I'm gonna drop some words here, possible jargon that will be gibberish to non-longtime DC fans. Okay?
Yeah, that's probably me.
That's me.
If you wanted to get into this Dark Knight's metal, you're gonna need to be familiar with one, the multiverse.
Who? Huh?
You don't need to know all the facets of it. Just know how it works, okay?
Okay,
And that it exists. That's the first thing. Number
I
two,
watch Sliders.
yeah. Number two, nth metal.
Oh Lord.
You need to know what that is. Rough definition is that it is the metal that Thanagarian wings are made of that allows them to
hmm
fly or that gives them their powers.
magic metal.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Oh sure.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Okay.
and third, Barbatos, who is a dark god.
That's a great island.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Barbados. But yeah, just be familiar with those three concepts. Look them up if you have to, if you don't want to read past stories. Just be familiar with those three concepts, and you will probably not have any problems reading this book. Those are
right.
the most foreign concepts in this. I enjoyed this a lot. I'm excited to see the evil Batmen.
Yeah.
I hope they all show up in a Greg Capullo drawn book, because at the end of this issue, we see a checklist of all
Yes.
the books that are gonna tie into this, and it's gonna be. We already have Dark Knights the Forge and Dark Knights the Casting. I'm sorry, Dark Days the Forge and Dark Days the Casting. Those were one shots, and then with this Dark Knights Metal, the series proper begins. But then we go on to Teen Titans and Batman the Red Death. The Red Death is one of the evil Batman, I believe. Uh,
The Flash one.
the Flash, yeah, and then we get Batman the Murder Machine, Batman the
Cyborg
Dawnbreaker.
one.
These are all one shots. The
Murder.
Drowned, the Drowned, the Merciless, the Devastator.
These are
Uh,
awesome names.
yeah,
Devastator.
I agree, and
Burger
it
Machine.
also ties into single issues of all the other
Murder
big DC
Machine.
books like Superman, Nightwing, Green Arrow, the
Green
Flash,
Arrow.
Dawnbreaker.
Justice League. And this is the final issue comes to us. Dark Knight's Metal number 6 will be on in February of 2018. So we're gonna be with this a while, and I'm gonna try my best to follow all of it for TK. I am me and Migs, and Migs is very infrequent with the show right now due to being very busy with work. So I
Hmm.
am kind of the go-to Morrison fan here on the show right now. So I'm gonna try to follow this as best I can and review the tie-ins. We'll see where it goes. Together, guys, we can do this. I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm just talking to myself. I can do this. But yeah, help me out, Lex. Uh,
Yeah,
that'll be it for our
I'll do what
Dark
I can.
Days, for our Dark Knights Metal talk. We're gonna wrap up the show with a panel discussion, guys. Butch, do you have one ready, or should I kick one of mine off the
I
list?
have one, but it's not. It's very short.
Okay. What's your name?
I
What's
just
short?
I just want to know, what do you guys think about capes in superheroes? Can they still be used to with newer characters? And when does it work? When doesn't it work? Uh, and just quickly, while you guys are thinking about that, the reason I was just wondering, because like sometimes it's functional, like with, I don't know, Batman, I guess, even though the thing
Hold
probably
up.
just snags on everything. Yeah,
Are you using
capes.
are you using the word capes to describe actual capes, or capes as a nickname for heroes?
Oh, sorry, capes, like actual cloth or whatever, leather capes.
And your question is, do they work as an introductory tool, or do they work as a design element?
No, no. I guess in general, like, because when you characters with capes,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, does would that work for new characters, like modern creations?
Hmm.
Because I don't know, like if you, it's so we've gotten used to I don't know, Martian Manhunter or Batman or Superman rocking the capes.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, it doesn't serve too many purposes. Like they don't serve too many purposes.
They serve zero
So
purposes.
That's true.
Don't you think?
I
They're
well
not very useful at all.
Yeah.
if you squint, like you can say Batman uses it to, I don't know,
It's
like
for
it's for
mood,
gliding,
It's for what?
and his for what?
What did you
mood,
say? It's
setting the mood, playing with the
No, like I don't know, like
capes,
what do you
like a
think, Lex?
visual element.
for
Um,
yeah,
like in practical use, it's nothing but a distraction, or
Mm-hmm.
in an actual fight, it might not be very useful because I've never been in a fight, but
yes.
just imagining it,
What if you had
I
a
wouldn't.
cape?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I don't want to wear a cape, and
Says you.
it's gonna snag in a, you know, barbed wire and choke me. And
Yes.
art-wise, it gives dramatic effect to your characters, but
Mm-hmm. Wolverine
um,
needs a cape.
yeah, in terms of Solid Snake doesn't wear a cape, so
Mm-hmm.
that's why he's Solid Snake.
Why'd you go there?
Because
I
capes are, it's impractical.
Oh, gotcha. Solid Snake.
I feel like characters with guns shouldn't have capes, and
Punisher.
that's it doesn't make sense. Um, for sure. Uh, I think capes still work as a design element. Maybe not
Of course.
in terms of practicality, but when we're talking about superheroes, we don't necessarily talk about practicality. When we talk about somebody like Captain America or Punisher, their costume needs to be functional because that's the kind of superhero they are. But when we talk about the heroes who are like idealized versions of ourselves, they need to look more regal than the regular person or regular man or woman. They need to be godlike. And I feel like a cape adds that
That,
little bit of
yeah.
majesty to them. But also, there's something timeless about a cape. Like
Hmm.
veering away from superheroes, one of my favorite anime is, or one of my favorite manga properties is Captain Harlock, and he's this spacefaring pirate who wears a cape, even though it's a
In
very strict,
space.
yeah, in space, and it's a strictly sci-fi book, and it just you don't know if this thing is happening in the distant past or distant future, and the cape just ties it all together. Um, Also, Darth Vader has a cape.
In
It make
space.
in space. It only makes him cooler, right? Like he doesn't need one.
It
That's
does.
true.
I mean,
Can you imagine Darth Vader without a cape, or like
right?
Superman without a cape? Isn't that weird?
I can imagine Superman without a cape. Actually, it just doesn't make him seem. He'd seem less godly. I feel, but it would work. I mean,
Right.
Invincible is practically Superman, except he doesn't have a
Oh,
cape.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, Butch, you should
Uh.
try Invincible.
Now, but what do you think, Butch? I feel like you brought this up for a reason.
No, I can't. I remember. I actually thought about the topic a while ago. I think I was looking at
Capes.
Jim Lee redesigns of Superman. For because he did one. Obviously, he redesigned Superman for Rebirth. Maybe it was New 52. I can't
Uh
remember.
huh.
And he did the redesign for the Earth One Superman.
Okay.
And I guess the main thing, or I guess his main thing was getting rid of the red underwear,
Mm-hmm.
because he in both versions I think he broke up that shape at least, which makes sense. A lot of people have had issues with that.
Sure.
But in both he decided to keep the cape, and I was just thinking, oh, okay, so you can you have the chance to remake the character, and you're willing to take chances, I guess. Uh, it's just interesting that obviously, and the cape doesn't have any use, like you guys said, but at the same time, is it so part of Superman that we need that? So anyway, I just started thinking about, okay, so what about Batman without the cape? Oh, and then you have Nighthawk. Is that his name? Nighthawk from Supreme Power. He's
Ye-
basically Batman with no cape, and
Is it
it
is it
it
Supreme
doesn't,
Power?
isn't it?
No.
Yeah,
Supreme Power?
Is that the name of the team?
Nighthawk.
There,
Oh, the name of the book. I don't know the
I
name of
know
the
there's
team.
a word Supreme in there, but I don't think it's Supreme Power. Is it?
Well, the team might be Squadron Supreme.
Squadron Supreme.
Cloud
There you go.
Supreme. Supreme Power.
Super Supreme.
So anyway, I was just thinking about capes.
Yeah.
I do that.
I don't think it works for every hero. That's what I let's put it at that. It's
Moon Knight,
100% a design thing, meant to
right?
meant to sell a hero's background, whether it be a god background or not high society, a high pantheon, or
Highborn.
yeah, highborn, whatever.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and if we look at one of my favorite books, designed by possibly the greatest artist of all time, Next Wave, you see that all the characters are not in capes, but
They're in trench
they're
coats,
all
which
in
is like the
Trench coats.
90s
exactly,
archetype,
exactly. All of them are wearing
right?
trench coats, even though they don't make sense with all of their powers. Like,
It's not always raining.
yeah, exactly. Monica Rambeau, who has energy beams, wears the cape, and that's wears the trench coats in place of a cape, and that makes sense for her. But Elsa Bloodstone, uh, doesn't really make sense, right?
Hmm.
If she uses guns, but I guess to
Why,
conceal the
why do you
weapon.
have a thing with guns and flowing things, flowing shapes?
Do you think it works?
No, no, I'm just uh
Devil May Cry.
like
He yeah, he wears not comics, but he wears a trench coat.
Mm.
yeah, and where's you said Punisher won't work with the cape,
Yeah.
which at first when I first think about it, yeah, of course.
But he wears a
But
trench coat.
isn't he's not so far from Batman, right? Like he's a dark character.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he operates in shadow. I don't know, like Is it really far-fetched for the Punisher to have a cape? Even though, if you think about it, it will look weird.
Not only does it look weird, it's also less functional because when you're working with guns, you need to be able to reach all around you, whether for ammo or for other guns. And having a cape
But
on your shoulders and back.
okay,
Have you ever worn a cape, Butch? Listen,
I'd
You
rather
wear.
not say.
l-
No
You should
comment.
try
listen.
mine.
It's a hindrance, alright? It's a hindrance.
But Batman has gear too. He doesn't have guns, but he has the grappling hook thing. That's kind of a gun.
Sure, but
He has
it's
like a lot of utilities on his belt.
but it's functional for Batman, isn't it? He uses it to hide,
Yes. Uses
and
it to scare, you know.
hmm it's camouflage first and foremost, I think.
Right?
But that's it.
Sure.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
I ain't never seen a ninja that wore a cape though, so. And I've seen a lot of ninjas.
Ninja with the long scarf.
They're not very good ninjas if you see them.
Oh, there's one now. But yeah,
Anyway, all right.
listeners, let us know what you think of capes. Do you hate them? Do you love them? Have you ever worn one?
You can
Who
wear mine.
who among the Tres Comiceros do you think
Should wear
owns
capes.
a cape, owns a cape already, or just in denial, Butch? Um, and yeah, what color cape do you think we'd each have? Lex, probably pure black. Butch, blue and black stripes.
Pure white.
Thank
Blue and
you.
black stripes for Butch.
Ooh,
Me,
my magic colors.
yeah, transparent cape for me.
Yours
But
is
still
like
there.
a bright orange
Mine's like a raincoat cape.
or a rainbow cape. Oh, there's John.
That's so sad.
Whew, that'll be it for this episode of Trash Comic Heroes. Thank you everybody for listening. Butch, Alex, thank you for joining me this late Friday night. We're closing in on midnight now. Once again, this episode was actually recorded via our Discord server. You can find us
Yes.
and
So
find a
high
link.
tech.
You can find a link on our Facebook page, and maybe next episode you can listen in as we record. You can hear the hijinks that go on in the background, or maybe not hijinks, maybe just one singular hijink. So hijink,
Hijink.
one singular hijink that goes on. Next episode, we don't really know what we're gonna talk about yet. Possibly more comics,
cape.
possibly possibly some book club stuff.
And CG
We'll
book.
see. And
Game of Thrones, episode 8.
oh, don't break my heart. EJ or Megs are probably around next episode also. So thanks for joining us, guys. We love you. We love you so much. Good night.
Yay. See ya.
How I wish you could see the potential of you and me. It's like a book elegantly bound, but in a language that you can't read. Just